As I stepped off the train, the familiar scent of pine mingled with the chill of winter air, instantly flooding me with memories of my hometown. I was Eliza Hawthorne, a name whispered in the glittering halls of the city, but here, I was just the girl who used to climb trees and race down snowy hills. Returning for Christmas was a decision born from heartbreak after rejecting Thomas, the man I thought would be my forever. The betrayal stung, leaving me raw and vulnerable. The quaint charm of Evergreen seemed almost too perfect against the backdrop of my recent turmoil. Snowflakes drifted down like tiny, delicate stars, and the townsfolk bustled about with cheerful greetings. As I wandered through the town square, I could feel the warmth of holiday spirit wrapping around me, yet my heart ached for the city's hustle, the elegant parties, the clinking of champagne glasses, and the fast-paced thrill of urban life. But here, surrounded by laughter and joy, something deep within me began to stir. It was then that I first saw him, Jack. He was rugged and handsome, with tousled hair and a smile that could ignite a spark even in the frostiest of hearts. He was a local mechanic, a fixture in this town, and the last person I thought I'd ever cross paths with. Our initial encounter was filled with tension. I had accidentally bumped into him while navigating the crowded market, sending his basket of fresh produce sprawling across the cobblestone. "Watch where you're going, city girl," he snapped, frustration etched on his face. "I could say the same to you," I shot back, irritation flaring in my chest. But as we picked up the scattered apples, our eyes locked, and for a fleeting moment, the world around us faded. I felt a flutter in my stomach that I couldn't quite place. "Sorry about that," I mumbled, feeling strange for even apologizing. "I'm a bit out of practice with this." Jack raised an eyebrow, a smirk creeping onto his face. "Looks like it. You're not in the city anymore. You need to learn to navigate a little better." Days passed, and I found myself reluctantly drawn to Jack. Each chance encounter felt like fate nudging me closer to him. At first, we clashed, his straightforwardness against my city polish, but beneath the surface, an undeniable chemistry brewed. I'd tease him about his flannel shirts, and he would challenge my disdain for anything not crafted in a designer's workshop. Our bickering felt alive, a playful dance that left me exhilarated. As Christmas approached, the town buzzed with festive preparations. One evening, while volunteering at the local shelter, I caught a glimpse of Jack as he served meals with a genuine smile that warmed the room. He interacted with the guests with such care and kindness that I couldn't help but admire him from afar. Watching him, I realized how wrong I had been to dismiss the beauty of this life, the genuine connections, the warmth of community, and the simple joys. One particularly cold night, I found myself in the small cafe on Main Street, my fingers wrapped around a steaming mug of hot cocoa, the whipped cream melting into swirls of sweetness. The cafe was decorated with garlands and twinkling lights, casting a warm glow on the patrons gathered inside. I couldn't shake the feeling of Jack's presence as he walked in, his cheeks flushed from the cold, and I felt my pulse quicken. "Fancy seeing you here," he said, his voice deep and inviting as he slid onto the stool next to mine. "Just warming up," I replied, trying to play it cool, but my heart was racing. "What about you?" "Same," he said, leaning closer. The space between us crackled with an undeniable energy. I thought I'd treat myself to a hot chocolate, in the spirit of the season. "Oh, so now you're embracing the holiday spirit?" I teased, enjoying the banter that had become our rhythm. "Only because I need to keep up with you," he shot back with a grin. "You're like a Christmas whirlwind, sweeping in and turning this town upside down." Our conversation flowed effortlessly, laughter punctuating the air like the jingle of bells. I felt myself leaning closer, the warmth radiating between us pulling me in. Just as he leaned in to whisper something, the door swung open, and the cold wind howled through the cafe, cutting our moment short. I glanced outside to see the first flurries of snow begin to fall, dancing like tiny ballerinas in the light. "Let's go see it," Jack exclaimed, grabbing my hand and pulling me outside before I could protest. The moment my feet hit the snow, I felt giddy. The world around us transformed into a winter wonderland, the ground blanketed in pure white. We raced down the street, our laughter echoing off the buildings, feeling alive and carefree. "Catch me if you can," I called out, sprinting ahead, the snow crunching beneath my boots. He was right behind me, the the sound of his footsteps mingling with the laughter of the townsfolk as we dashed past them. The thrill of the chase sent adrenaline coursing through me, and I could feel the heat of his presence just a heartbeat away. "Not fair," he shouted, closing the distance. "You have the advantage, you're lighter on your feet. Just admit it, you're slow," I teased, turning to look back at him, my heart racing from more than just the cold. And then, just as I turned back to sprint ahead, I tripped on a hidden patch of ice, tumbling into the snow with a squeal. Jack was on me in an instant, collapsing beside me in a fit of laughter. "Are you okay?" he asked, breathless, and the concern in his voice sent a warmth spreading through my chest. "I think I'll survive," I giggled, looking up at him. Our faces were mere inches apart, and I could see the flecks of gold in his hazel eyes, the warmth radiating from his smile. The world around us faded as we locked eyes, and I could feel the shift, the tension building, the moment stretching out infinitely. Before I knew it, he was leaning closer, and just as our lips brushed together, a loud cheer erupted from a nearby group of children. We sprang apart, laughter escaping my lips. The moment was gone, but the air still buzzed with unspoken desire. "Maybe next time," he said, his voice low and teasing, and I felt a blush creeping onto my cheeks. As the festival neared, I found myself swept up in the town's preparations, but my thoughts constantly drifted back to Jack. We spent every spare moment together, from ice skating on the pond to helping set up the Christmas tree in the town square. Each day, I felt myself opening up more, my heart daring to take chances I hadn't before. But just as I began to feel the warmth of our budding romance, the dark shadow of my past returned. Thomas reappeared in my life, just as I was starting to let go. I spotted him one evening at the festival, mingling with the crowd, and my stomach dropped. "Don't you think you've done enough?" I confronted him, anger flaring as he approached. "I've come to apologize, Eliza," he said, his charm still intact. "I miss you. I made a mistake." "Not just one," I shot back, memories of his betrayal flooding my mind. "You cheated on me, Thomas. There's no coming back from that. Let's not dwell on the past," he said, his smile faltering. "You know you want the life we had, the life you always wanted." My heart raced as I turned to see Jack watching from a distance, his jaw clenched. "I'm happy here, Thomas. I've found something real." With that, I walked away, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders as I chose to embrace my new life. Jack was waiting for me, and as I approached him, his expression shifted from concern to relief. "I can't believe he had the nerve to show up," Jack said, his voice low. "Are you okay?" "I am," I replied, the truth flowing through me. "I'm finally okay." That night, as we strolled back from the festival, the stars twinkled overhead, and the air was filled with the scent of pine and cinnamon. Jack took my hand, intertwining our fingers as we walked through the snowy streets. "You're amazing, you know that," he said softly, glancing at me sideways. "I admire your strength." "Thank you," I said, a warmth blooming in my chest. "But it's easy to be strong when I have you by my side." We stopped in front of the grand Christmas tree, its lights sparkling like diamonds. "I have something for you," Jack said, reaching into his coat pocket. He pulled out a small, beautifully wrapped box and held it out to me. "Open it." My heart raced as I unwrapped the gift, revealing a delicate silver bracelet adorned with tiny charms, each one representing a memory we had created together. There was a tiny snowflake, a car to symbolize his dreams, and a heart that pulsed with promise. "It's beautiful, Jack," I breathed, tears pricking at the corners of my eyes. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he replied, gently fastening it around my wrist. "I just wanted you to know that I'm in this with you, wherever it leads." The moment hung between us, charged with possibility. I leaned in closer, my heart racing. "Jack, Before I could finish, he closed the distance, his lips crashing against mine in a kiss that melted away all doubts, fears, and remnants of the past. It was sweet, passionate, and everything I had been longing for. As we pulled away, breathless, I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. The snow continued to fall, blanketing Evergreen in silence, but inside, my heart roared with excitement. I had returned home searching for solace and instead found love, a love that transcended wealth and circumstance, rooted deeply in understanding and shared dreams. As we stood beneath the twinkling lights, I realized this was just the beginning of our story, one filled with adventure, laughter, and perhaps a little trouble, but together, we could face it all.